Very good morning, children. This is our first video for class 9th A and C for the economic chapter, the very first chapter of economics sector. Then the title of the chapter is The Story of Village Palampur. Students, before explaining the chapter, first of all, we will note down as a notes in fair notebook some key definition and important definition which will be very helpful to understand the concept behind the chapter. So, I am giving you instruction that these 5 key terms and definition you have to note down in your economics notebook, and then you have to do other homework. So, the story of village Palampur, the first key important definition is multiple cropping. When we start the chapter, then you will come through with this word, and the multiple cropping meaning to grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the same time or same year is known as multiple cropping. As if the term multiple cropping is given in the chapter, it means that the farmers where they use more than one crop in a one season. So this pattern is known as multiple cropping system. Second important term is HYV seeds. So what is the definition of HYV seeds? High yielding varieties of seeds which promises to produce much greater amounts of grain than traditional seeds. As we know that now there is so much of enhancement and technological development, and hybrid seeds are also available in the market so that the farmers can produce number of crops in a large amount. Okay, because now the farming is also becoming commercial farming. So they especially the prosperous farmers from Punjab, Haryana, they used to be habitual of HYV seeds. So it is they are costly definitely, but they are the best types of seeds by which we can get more and the large number of crops besides the traditional seeds. Now the third important definition of this chapter is bogies. Bogies, what is bogies? A kind of transport made of wood are known as bogies, which is used to transport the heavy, bulky, you can say grains and food grains to the market. These wooden made, you can say means of transport is known as bogies. Now Dalits. As we know, the people belonging to the lower caste are called Dalits, or we used to call them SC or STs. Okay, now the fifth important definition is Green Revolution. It is the revolution in the field of agriculture, as there are 3 types of revolution: yellow revolution, white revolution, and the green. So green revolution belonging to the agriculture sector, and it has started in 1960s to introduce the Indian farmer with the modern method of farming so that they can increase their agricultural product. As India is the second largest populous country, so it is a big task for the country people and the government that every single citizen is having 3 time basic meals. And not only this, that we transport, or we you can say export the food grain to the other state or the other country also. So that's why the very first priority to satisfy the basic food availability to the every single citizen of India. So that's why the Green Revolution strategy or the plan has introduced in 1960 in India. So these are some important basic definition. This chapter is explained with the help of 2 people in a story format. So we are going to explain this chapter, the story of village Palampur, with the help of book. Overview. The main purpose of the story that we are going to discuss here to introduce some fundamental concepts pertaining to production, and this will do through a story of a imaginary village named as Palampur. So here with the help of an imaginary village Palampur, it is not a real village, it is a, you can say, fictitious story where we are trying to explain to all the people or the students that how the human can be used as an asset, as an means of you can say resource, and how the situation is different within with 2 people who are educationally different. as education play a significant role to develop ourselves, to develop human being as a resource. So with the imaginary story, the story of village Palampur, we are going to describe it. There are many other activities such as small scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc. As we know that in village area, people used to engage themselves to earn money in the some small manufacturing industry like dairy, transport, etc. that are carried out on a limited scale. These production activity require different types of resources, natural resources, man-made items, human effort, money, etc. As we proceed through the story of Palampur, we will know how different resources are combined to produce the desired goods and services in the village. When we go through with the story, then we come to know that how are the different people are engaged in their livelihood, how they used to earn money for their survival, and it all depends on their educational and awareness, and definitely on their health also. Okay, only a healthy body and mind can be used as an asset. Now, introduction of the chapter. The location of Palampur is such that one can reach there very easily from neighboring villages and towns. Raiganj is a big village situated at a distance of 3 km from Palampur. Okay, now there is a Raiganj area which is having the distance of 3 km from the Palampur village. There is an all-weather road that connects the village to Raiganj and further on to the nearest small town of Shahapur. So, all-weather road. I hope that you know the meaning of all-weather road. That yes, all-weather road that uh, which cannot be disrupted or which cannot be damaged in the rainy season. In all season it will be the same solid, and so there was a all weather road which connect the village Raiganj and further on to the nearest small town of Shahapur. Different types of transport can be seen on this road, starting from bullock carts, tongas, bogies. As you know, bogies, wooden cart drawn by buffalo, loaded with jaggery, gur, and other commodity to motor vehicle or motorcycle and vehicle like jeep, tractors, and trucks. So these are the main transporting activity in the area of Raiganj, Shahapur, or the you can say in Palampur village. Now, there are about 450 families belonging to several different castes reside in the village. The majority of land in the village is owned by 80 upper caste families. So, you can see the structure of the village. All about 450 families are there, and 80% people are belonging to the upper caste family. Okay. Their houses, some of them quite large and made up of brick with cement plastering. One third of the population of the village comprised of the SCs, Dalits. They live in one corner of the village and their houses are comparatively much smaller. Now you can understand that you can differentiate that how the Dalit people and the upper caste people used to live in a different way of living, as their houses are different in the same village. Some houses are built of mud and straw. The houses of the SCs are made up of mud and straw, while the houses of the upper caste people are made up of brick and cement. Now, most of the houses have electric connections. Okay, so we can understand it is not the so rural, and the urban area, the rural area, there are the advancement of electricity also. Electricity powers all the tube wells in the field and is used in several types of small business. Okay, now they are also using the electricity to satisfy the irrigation facility. There are 2 primary schools and 1 high school in Palampur. There is a primary health center run by the government and on corporate dispensary where the sick are treated, and the dispensary also available there, and the hospital also. The description given above shows that the Palampur has fairly well developed infrastructure, which includes a better system of road transport, electricity, irrigation, schools, and health center. try to compare these facility with those in your nearby village. So we can imagine now that after reading this, that Palampur village is a village where the availability of transport is good, connectivity of roads, electricity, irrigation, and the health facility in terms of medical store and the other educational primary and the higher secondary school is available there. It is a well developed village. The story of Palampur, a hypothetical village, will take us through the various types of production activity in the village. Farming is the main production activity in the village across India. Now, underline, farming is the main production activity in villages across India. The other production activities referred to as non-farm activity. What are the non-farm activity included in the in the village Palampur? These are small manufacturing, transport, shoe keeping, etc. We shall go through both of these types of activities after knowing a few general things about production. Now, the other characteristics of the village Palampur is now organization of production. Production of goods and services that we want is the aim of production. There are 4 requirements for production of goods and services. When we produce something as a product, then we used to go through with these 4 things. We need these 4 things as a basic manual, otherwise we cannot do any type of production. The first basic requirement to produce anything is land, because land is a basic resource to produce anything in terms of food, grain or anything. So land is a basic resource and other natural resources such as water, forest and minerals. The second requirement is labor. Definitely we need the labor in terms of machine and in terms of human, that is people who will actually be involved in the production activities. Some production activities require highly educated workers to perform the specific task. Yes, we need some trained professional who can use the tractors, who can use the threshing machine during the production or harvesting time. Other activity require worker who can do manual work. Now we require the manual work labor. Okay, each worker contributes the labor essential for production. Every labor is equally important to produce something good. The third requirement is a physical capital, that is the variety of inputs needed at every stage during production. Do you know the item that come under physical capital? Now you are coming to know what is physical capital. Okay, as the third requirement to produce anything or for the production is physical capital. So what are the physical capitals? We are going to explain it. The first physical capital is tools, machine, buildings. There is a very wide range of tools and machines, from very simple tools such as a farmer's plow to sophisticated machines such as generators, turbines, computers, etc. Tools, machine, buildings are called fixed capital because they can be used in production over many years. Now the differentiate that you have to understand, students, that anyhow anything can be asked. So there is a long question also that describe any 3 or 2 physical capital. So you will write down tools, machine, building, then you will explain. Then second, raw materials and money in hand, then you will explain what is all about. And it can be asked as a 1 mark question, differentiate between fixed capital and physical capital. So fixed capital is the capital which can be used over many times or over many years. Okay, such as the tools which we use to produce farming output, machines such as machine, you can threshing machine, tractors, and building. So these are known as fixed capital in the production. Now second physical capital is raw material and money in hand. A wide variety of raw materials such as the yarn used by the weaver and the clay used by the potter are required for production. Also, some money is always required during production to make payments to buy the other essential item. Raw material and money in hand are called working capital. So what is working capital? Raw materials and money are come under the working capital. Tools, machine and buildings are called fixed capital. So these are the different examples of fixed capital and working capital. Unlike tools, machine and building, working capital is used up in production. There is a fourth requirement too. One shall require knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor, and physical capital and produce an output either to use himself or to sell in the market. Now, after these all things, after these all resources, we need a trained and enough knowledgeable person who can put together all these fixed and the working capital to produce good amount of crop and to utilize these things as a resource. These days, this is called human capital. We shall know more about human capital in the next chapter. So, there is a fourth requirement too. One shall require knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor and physical capital. In the picture given below, try to identify the land, labor and fixed capital used in the production. Every production is organized by combining land, physical capital and human capital, which are known as factors of production. So student, it is very clear that land, labor, physical capital and human capital are known as factors of production. These are the factors of production. As we proceed through the story of Palampur, we learn more about the first three factors of production. For convenience, the physical capital is referred as the capital in this chapter. Now, farming in Palampur. So, as the heading is reflecting that farming is the main occupation of the people of Palampur. Land is fixed. Now, farming in Palampur, that land is a fixed. The main production activity is farming. In the Palampur, 75% of the working people are dependent on farming for their livelihood. They could be farmers or farm laborers. The well-being of the people is closely linked to production on the farms. That the prosperous family, the rich family also use agricultural activity. But it should be kept in mind that there is a fundamental constraint in raising farm production. Land area under the cultivation practically fixed. Since 1960, no expansion in land area under cultivation has been taken place in Palampur. It is clear, student, that from 1960, there is no expansion has been done to enhance the agricultural area or cultivated land area. By then, some of the wasteland in the village also converted into cultivable land. There exists no further scope to enhance farm production by bringing new land under cultivation. But it was clear that in Palampur, there is no more new land has been used as a agricultural activities. Now, is there a way that one can grow more from the same piece of land? In the kind of crops grown and facilities available, Palampur would look like a village, the western part of the state Uttar Pradesh. That as we have got the information of the village Palampur, we can compare it is the western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. The entire land is cultivated in Palampur and land is left idle. No, you can say that there is not a single piece of land has left as a idle, as a wasteland. Farmers grow jowar and bajra. I underline that in village Palampur, the farmers grow jowar and bajra during the rainy season and it is known as Kharif season. These plants are used as cattle feed. So they use the bajra and the jowar to feed their cattle, cow and the other domestic animals. Between October and December, potato is cultivated. Now in October, winter season, October to December, the farmers of the Palampur used to produce or cultivate the potato. In the winter season, Rabi, fields are sown with wheat. From the wheat produced, farmers keep sufficient wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus wheat at the market at Raiganj. So it means Raiganj, we have introduced the Raiganj and the distance is also from the village Palampur. So Raiganj is a marketplace where the farmers of the Palampur used to sell their surplus grains to the people. A part of the land area is also used to cultivate sugarcane, underlined sugarcane, which is harvested once every year. Okay, sugarcane in its raw form or as jaggery, which is known as gur, and is sold to the traders in Shahapur. So in Shahapur, sugarcane and the jaggery is used to sold from the village Palampur. The main reason why farmers of Palampur are able to grow three different crops in a year due to the well developed system of irrigation. Underline. So irrigation is the most essential, you can say, asset to continue a good agricultural activity. Electricity came early to Palampur, and so major transformation in the system of irrigation took place there. Till then, Persian wheels were used by farmers to draw water from the wells and irrigate small fields. As there was a enhancement of the wheels also, that's why they used to get the water from the wells and irrigate the small piece of land and or the fields also. People saw the tube wells that functioned on electricity could irrigate much larger area of land, that too with more effect. The first few tube wells were installed by the government. Soon seeing the results, farmers began setting up the private tube wells also. As a result, by mid 1970s, the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares came under irrigation. So it was a good result that after inventing the you can say tube wells, also that the village Palampur became advanced village in terms of the agricultural activity. Now, when more than one crop is grown on a piece of land during a year, it is termed as a multiple cropping, as we have studied it in the important term. This is the most common way to increase the production on a given piece of land. At least two main crops are grown by all farmers of Palampur. Since the past 15 to 20 years, many farmers have been growing potato as the third crop. As a third important crop, the farmers of the Palampur is used to crop the potato. Now, you have just studied that production from the same land can be increased by multiple cropping. Higher yielding variety of seed can also be achieved by adopting modern farming method. Yield is measured as crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. Now, till the mid 1960s, the seeds that were used in the cultivation were traditional ones and had relatively low yields. Traditional seeds require less irrigation. Cow dung and the other natural manure were used as fertilizer by farmers. All these were easily available with the farmer who did not have to buy them. Green Revolution. Green Revolution in the late 1960s introduced the Indian farmer to cultivation of wheat and rice using high yielding variety of seeds. Important that when we connect the Green Revolution, it has started in late 1960, and basically it has given the power to the Indian farmer to produce wheat and rice, because wheat and rice is the main staple food of India, and with the help of high yielding variety of seeds. The HYV seeds were expected to produce much greater amount of grain on a single plant than the traditional seeds. As a result that the same piece of land began producing far larger quantities of food grain than was possible earlier. HYV seeds, however, required plenty of water and also chemical fertilizer and pesticide to produce best result. Higher yielding were possible only from a combination of HYV seeds, irrigation, chemical fertilizer, pesticide. So, student, that the farmers can use high yielding variety of seeds with the proper irrigation, chemical fertilizer and pesticide. HYV seeds require these other things also. Only then the high production can be possible. Now, the modern farming method in India were first tried by the farmers of Punjab, underline, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. These are the main three states which at first used the modern farming method. The farmers in these regions installed tube wells for irrigation and used HYV seeds, chemical fertilizer, pesticide in farming. Some farmers bought farm machinery such as tractors and threshers, which made ploughing and harvesting faster. In return, these farmers got higher yields of wheat. In Palampur, the traditional varieties of wheat produced 1300 kg per hectare. With the HYV seed, the yield went up to 3200 kg per hectare. So you can see that how it has increased more than double. There was a tremendous increase in the production of wheat. Farmers now had greater amount of surplus wheat to sell in the market also. Now, will the land sustain that we can use the same piece of land for longer time? Land is a natural resource, and so it is essential for us to use it very carefully. Scientific reports show the natural resources base have been overused by the modern farming method. In several areas, green revolution is linked to the loss of the soil fertility due to increased use of chemical fertilizer. Now it is an adverse effect of the modern method of farming that after the introduction of green revolution, the soil fertility as the same piece of land has been used with the high yielding of variety of seed, chemical fertilizer, so soil has lost its natural fertility, and it is not a good sign for the uh, ecological balance also and the farmers also. Further, the water level below the ground have been reduced due to the continuous use of underground water for tube well and irrigation. Environmental resources like soil, chemical fertilizers, soil fertility and groundwater are built up over many years. Once destroyed, it is almost impossible to restore them. We must take care of the environment to ensure further development of agriculture. Chemical fertilizers provide minerals which dissolve in water and are immediately available to the plants, but these may not be retained in the soil for long. They may escape from the soil and pollute groundwater, rivers, and lakes. Chemical fertilizer can also kill bacteria and other microorganisms in the soil. This means the same time after their use, the soil will be less fertile than ever before. So it is also very adverse effect of the modern methodology which is used after the green revolution in India. The consumption of chemical fertilizer in Punjab is the highest in the country. Underline, the continuous use of chemical fertilizer had led to degradation of soil health. Punjab farmers are now phased or forced to use more and more chemical fertilizer and other inputs to achieve the same production level. This means cost of cultivation is rising very fast, but we are compromising the soil fertility. Now, how is land distributed between the farmers of Palampur?